Hello everyone and welcome back. So in this video I'm going to change things up a bit, and I'm also going to record my face as I explain what I'm doing in the video, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So what I'm going to be talking about today is going to be my new project which I've been working on, which is it's still a quite basic project. It's still I wouldn't say it's like my own, it's not really that complex, but it's going to be I'm now moving on to making a Space Invaders clone. So in the last video I showed you guys that I made a clone of I keep forgetting what it's called. Snake. Yeah, so I made a clone for Snake, and now I'm working on a clone for Space Invaders, and I'm also planning on making a clone for maybe Flappy Bird, then probably working on my own project using Pygame. So also something else that you guys might have noticed is that I've changed my text editor, which I mainly use. So if you guys saw my previous videos, I mainly use an editor called Sublime Text, and that's been pretty good so far. But recently I decided to switch towards Atom, and the main reason actually was it wasn't really for any performance gains or any cool features. It was mainly because I preferred the way Atom looked, and I just liked the color scheme and everything. I did try to install a package which had the 1-dot color scheme, which Atom uses by default, but it didn't look that nice in Sublime Text, so I decided to switch to Atom. And then so far I've actually been liking. I had a couple of issues with the indenting and the syntax highlighting not really working that well. So if I show you guys the packages I installed. So in Atom, it's got I think it's got a nicer design than Sublime Text. It's completely free and open source. The other benefit of it is that it's got is to expand upon it. You got things like packages. So here, these are the packages that I'm using. It's Magic Python, which is a syntax highlighter for Python. We've got Script, which I can use to run code directly inside of Atom, so I don't have to open up a shell or a PowerShell or open up Commander to do that. If I just exit out of here. So I was just trying to show you guys this, which is Scripts, which allows me to run code like I do in Sublime Text. I've also got Magic Python. So by default, the syntax highlighting package which Atom comes with, if I can find it, is called Language Python. So I disabled it because I just did not like the way it works. It was very buggy, very glitchy. Like whenever I'd be writing a function here, the syntax coloring for another function will be changing as I write it. I don't know, it's just a problem with my machine, but it just wasn't really working properly. So I moved over to Magic Python, which so far has been really good and is very customizable as well. I'm sure Language Python is as well, but I prefer Magic Python, and it's quite popular. I use Vim Plus mode, and this just gives me some Vim emulation, so I can use HJKL to navigate through the file. I can use Control U to page up, Control D to page down. I can use swirly braces. It just gives you the whole. This gives you a bunch of stuff that you can use, and it's kind of nice. Finally, I want to show you guys something else which I've got here. So if you go to File, then inside of Sublime Text you probably have your user settings file, which is a JSON format, but here inside of Atom you've got something called Style Sheet, and this is in CSS, I think, or I think it's called less CSS.org. That's the website to go to. I made some minor customizations, mainly because I just wanted to change the color of instances of functions and stuff like that, so it'll be in Magic Python. So instead of just being white, it will be the normal blue that it will usually be. And then I didn't do anything here, it just came by default. Then I also changed the so here in the console, if I run this out instead, this is now Furacode, which is the Furacode Retina, which is the preferred font I use whenever I'm coding. So I changed it to that for the scripts, and then I set to font size 13. And that's basically all I did to that. I didn't really change anything. You can also make snippets. So if you're let's just say you're doing some sort of React development, and then actually I don't know much about React development. So let me just quickly show you guys. So let's just say instead, whenever I'm trying to make a Pygame, just a simple game, I want to just import all of these libraries. So from Pygame, from Pygame if I can type locals import star, so import all the constants. Then we can do import OS and import sys. So we can make a snippet, which is like, we type 1 or 2 characters, we press tab to autocomplete it, and then it'll just run all this code for us. I didn't actually do that, mainly because I don't actually really need it right now. I'm not doing anything that complex, but if you work on larger projects and you find yourself repeatedly using the same, just the same base setup. So let's just say, this example, a Pygame game, I'm just trying to import the libraries. I can make a snippet for that, then press tab, press enter. Then it will import the libraries in like using 2 letters. So it's quite useful in that sense. So that's about it for the new setup I'm using. So now I'll move on to the actual game I've been working on. So if I remove, oops, not that, my snake game here. So here's a Space Invaders game. I have got 4 files which I'm using. So I got spaceinvaders.py, ship.py, main.py, and lasers.py. And these all do what their names are. So Space Invaders is where I'm just setting up the base game so we can actually run it. This is going to be, I'm making this whole thing object oriented, by the way. So if you guys haven't noticed yet, I've got a bunch of class. I've got a class here called main where I'm just importing a bunch of stuff, setting a bunch of constants, making like just setting up the player controls. I'm probably gonna move this to the ship class later, but I'm keeping it here for now. I haven't really implemented the ships yet, and then here are the lasers. I'm working on this one. I've been quite stuck for I've been stuck on this for about a few days. I've been trying to figure out how to make the ships the ships actually shoot lasers. So if I show you guys the game so far, it's just this. So we've got a ship right here. He's got boundaries. You can move left and right, up and down doesn't move. He's got a background. Then if I uncomment that code right here. If I just go down a bit, and then I'll just uncomment that code. I was testing the feature out. This is the bullet system. Laser has no attribute laser shoot. So if we go down here, change to shoot laser. So if I just do draw laser, then I'll do window, then laser velocity. Okay. What am I doing? As this is just something I was testing out. This should work now. If I go back to Space Invaders. And here we got laser shoot, so I'll just change this to shoot laser. Oops, I press escape instead of pressing tab to autocomplete it. If you run it now, okay, we got an error. Draw laser is not defined. Oops. Wait, what? Oh, it looks like I appear to have done something. Oh, I did something that I don't know what that was. Let's run it now. Another error. Pygame.init's got an unexpected indent. That's a bit weird. It looks like I may have indented some other code wrong as well. Okay, so I don't want to go on forever about this, so I'll fix this up later. As you can see, it's just a working prototype. So here we've got I'm just going to show you the base of what we're doing. So this is going to be a multi-part series where this is the part where I'm just showing you what I've done so far. I've got the player, I've got boundaries, I've got him moving, I've got a background. I'm starting to make the bullets. Once I've done the bullets, I can move on to making the enemies move down the screen, and then we can shoot we can check for collisions and stuff like that. So right now this is what I've done. So I'll just walk you guys through the code. So first off, here we're just importing Pygame, and then after that we're doing something here. I learned this recently. So from pygames.locals import star. So this just contains a bunch of constants, which are these things. So usually you have to do something like pygame.quit to reference to them. Now you can just call them directly. So instead of trying to do pygame.quit or pygame.keydown, we can just do keydown quit, stuff like that. And I've set it up. Magic Python, the syntax color I'm using for this, also highlights constants. So yeah, I know which one's which. And then I'm just checking if the player has pressed the cross key on the side on the window. So if I run it, and then we've got this cross key, we click it. I'm checking for that, which is an event, and then we're also going to be drawing the player, and then we're also going to be updating the display, and then we're going to set the FPS to 60. And then in my main, I also imported main and laser and made instances for those two classes. So here I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm importing sys and os, and then here I've got a class called main, and inside of this initialization method I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch of instance attributes I'm going to be using throughout this entire thing. I think they're called instance attributes. Or just in Python I know there's two things called instance attributes and then class attributes. I believe these are instance attributes if I'm correct. And then if I go up here, and then anything defined outside of a method would be called a class attribute. So if I say I had path, it's going to be set to C. Oh wait. Okay. So let's just say this is going to be a class attribute, and then this should be an instance attribute, I think. So I'm just saying the display stuff like that, loading all the images from my assets file right here. And if you are wondering, this ship and then the ship right here, I did actually so if you watch a YouTuber called Tech with Tim, he made a video about making Space Invaders, and then he had an asset pack inside of there, and then I just took the player ship and then a bunch of the lasers and then the enemies for that, and then mainly because I liked how they looked, and it just seemed a lot easier than having to make my own pixel art, because I tried with the background and I really struggled trying to make this background here, so I just used the pre-made ones from that video. Then I'm just drawing the player, adding player controls, and it's got this method called player, which just calls both of these methods for me, so I don't have to reference to them. So instead of just calling main.playerControls, main.drawPlayer, I can just draw main.player, which will run both of these for me. And then for lasers, this is a work in progress because it's ended up being a bit more complicated than I thought it would be. So I'm installing Pygame and Pygame locals, importing these libraries, importing the class here called main. Then I'm making a bunch of stuff which the laser should have, and getting with the key pressed. So in Pygame, if you didn't know that, so each key on the keyboard, you can check which key is being pressed at a given time using this method here. So key.getPressed. And then I got a list called lasers, which I'll just append to the new lasers positions. And then I'm going to be doing a draw. I'm drawing the lasers, I'm shooting the lasers, which is basically just calling this function here. So this method. And then that's about all I got to. I actually got a working prototype before, but then for some reason it didn't actually want. I changed the code up a bit before this video just to test something out. And now I don't really have the code anymore, so it might not work. Well, it is not working right now. Then we've got a ship here, which is going to contain like the controls for the enemy ship and the player ship, and I'm hoping to use this class instead of having to use this main.py. So this is just for right now. I'm planning to take all of these controls, player controls, draw player, into the ship class, and then I'm going to import it into the Space Invaders, file, and I'm just going to run it from here. So yeah, this video's gone on for around 13 minutes, and that's all I really had to show you guys right now. This is a work in progress. I'm going to be making a step-by-step video series about how to do this. It'll probably run 3 episodes because this is quite a small project, and so far it's been going pretty well, except for the lasers part. I've been stuck on that for a few days now. One more note about me switching to Atom is that I noticed that Atom's quite a lot slower than Sublime Text and VS Code. It's built in Electron, which may make it a bit slower, but Sublime Text I noticed is a lot faster. VS Code is also pretty fast. People think that VS Code is not really an IDE. I would say it's an IDE because it's got things like a debugger, which, yeah, it does. VS Code is a pretty lightweight IDE. You can use it for lots of things like Python development. I just prefer using a text editor. One thing I've seen, which Atom has a benefit over, which Atom actually beats Sublime Text which is the way you can customize it. So in these packages, you can literally get a debugger for Python. You can get a bunch of stuff. You can literally set it up to become an IDE. But I wouldn't recommend installing too many packages because from my experience, it does tend to lag a lot when you go around 7 or more packages. I try to keep the amount of packages I use pretty small, so I got 3 right now. I might install another one later, but I'm gonna try to keep it below 7 because once I got to around 7 packages, it started to lag a bit more. So when I'm closing down windows, it won't be as fast, stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically it for me today, and then I'll probably release the next video quite soon about how the project's going till then. So bye.